From Washington, D.C. to Tallahassee, leaders remembering the life and legacy of former Florida Governor Bob Graham.
He was a great Floridian. We're really thankful for his service, and he served very, very ably for this state for many, many years.
Those impacts are still being felt right here in the capital city.
Nobody did more than Bob Graham for preserving the original state of Florida.
This is video of Graham coming back to Tallahassee. ABC 27 News at 6 starts with a look back on his life of service. The Florida Highway Patrol are escorting Bob Graham's body this afternoon from Gainesville to a funeral home in Tallahassee. Funeral plans have not been announced yet. A public servant for nearly 4 decades from the local, state, and even national level. Thousands mourn the death of Bob Graham. I'm Shamaria Morrison, your downtown neighborhood reporter. And today I spent the day just speaking with people who knew him best. And they tell me how he became one of the most famous Floridians our state has ever seen. Bob Graham was known as a bridge, both in life and in politics.
He got along with everybody. He got along with the Republicans. He worked with them. He worked on legislation.
Graham, a proud Democrat, served first as a state legislator, then governor, and finally a 3-term U.S. senator.
That man loved every element of this state, and he leaves a legacy that is frankly unparalleled and that we're all going to have to strive.
Florida State Representative Allison Tant and her husband, Barry Richard, an attorney and former member of the Florida House of Representatives, knew Graham well. Richard served in the state legislature when Graham was there as well. Tant, a former intern of his.
I got to go work in his office of planning and budgeting and learned what smart, efficient government looks like and should be like and how it impacts the lives of everyday people.
They shared stories of Bob Graham behind the veil during his time in Tallahassee.
He's now governor of the state of Florida, and I encountered him on Monroe Street. It was in front of Metro Deli, and he had just played a role in a local rendition of the off-Broadway musical, The Fantastics, and I had missed it. And I told him I was sorry I'd missed it. So he just broke out singing one of the songs from it right in the middle of Monroe Street.
And don't forget the press kits.
Graham had a role in nearly every major public policy issue in modern Florida's history. On a state level, his work preserving the Florida Everglades and his commitment to education is what many remember him for. On a federal level, he gained national prominence as chairman of the Senate Intelligence Committee in the aftermath of the 2001 terrorist attacks. At the Florida Historic Capitol Museum, kids learning about Florida's history, also looking at material about Graham.
And he liked to keep detailed notes about his meetings with people so that he could follow up on either something that concerned you or maybe send you a thank you note after having met you.
Graham was known for his hundreds of work days in which he spent a day in different parts of the state working various regular jobs.
He just wanted to know everything about Florida, and he did it by learning it firsthand from the people who were doing it every day.
The legacy he would want to have left more than anything else was a legacy of mutual respect between parties and people, and people treating each other like dignified human beings.
Now, let's walk through Graham's political career, which spanned multiple decades. It all started with Graham's election to the Florida House of Representatives in 1966. He won a state Senate seat in 1970. He was elected governor of Florida in 1978, then re-elected in 1982. Graham remained widely popular with Florida voters, winning re-election by wide margins in 1992 and 1998, and he carried 63 of 67 counties. After leaving public life in 2005, Graham spent much of his time at a public policy center named after him at the University of Florida.